Alrighty, welcome back to the show, all you delicious little lemon drops. Today we have a 2v2 going down. I believe this is played on team matchmaking. Call this Team 1 up here at the top, Team 2 down at the bottom. It's kind of a mid-level T2, kind of a mid-level T2, mid-level 2 versus 2. God, there we go. I'll get into the rhythm here in about, I don't know, about as long as this game goes, and then you guys will be done. Anyway, I don't know what I'm rambling on about. Let's go ahead and introduce our players. We have, starting off for Team 1, Johnny Radars going Cybran, opening first land, getting some efficiency around the mass extraction point. This is actually something I didn't know. I actually asked a couple of the pros why they do this, because for me, I'm like, why would you build those or power generators around the mass extraction point? Because then you can't build mass storage. And it turns out if you build power generators, it makes upgrading to T2 on that initial mix a little bit more efficient. So if you've got the APM to micro and control K and or reclaim these power generators, it can save you a little bit of time, a little bit of money. But anyway, moving on to his teammate, it's Gnaf, I think, or Naf. I don't know. GH. English language is terrible, let me tell you. GH is kind of silent in English language, so maybe it's Naf, but we're gonna call him Gnaf because it sounds just that much cooler. Moving down to Team 2, we have Jules 2497. He is going Seraphim, opening first land. Incidentally, Gnaf went Aeon, opening first land as well. And last but certainly not least, we have Early Doors. Already got some of that early lab harass walking through those doors and out into the battlefield. He's going UEF. He opened first land, got the Hydro working as we speak. So while some of the initial harass is going out, a couple of things I want to talk about. First, Willow and I know a lot of you guys subscribe to his channel as well. Willow and I have been talking about doing another collaborative cast. We just need to find a time where we can both sit down and do it, but keep an eye out for that. We'll probably do two, and one will go up on my channel, one will go up on his channel, just like we did last time, but keep an eye out for that. Second, if I drop off the face of the planet for, maybe forever, it's because my birthday is coming up. My wife and I are both really into spicy things, and if you guys are familiar with the one chip challenge, we decided that it would be fun for us to both do that together on my birthday. And if I die, then that was the reason. So if you don't hear from me, assume that I died from scorpion peppers and Carolina Reapers on a tortilla chip. Got some lab and scout interaction. I watched a video on the one chip challenge earlier today, and let me tell you, I should not have watched that video, because before I was like, how bad could it be? It's one chip. It looks like it's pretty bad. So it'll be fun either way. Johnny Radar is expanding out with a couple of engineers and seems to be going land all day. Got that third land factory up. Also got a radar. Very important to remember radar. Don't do what I do and forget it. And a redundant radar from Gnaf in the rear part of his base. Gnaf has gone for second air, actually, instead of doubling down on the land, which kind of makes sense for his position. There's a little bit less land access that he has available to him, so might focus a little bit more on air, but I would expect everybody to build land in this game with it being a 2v2. And checking in on the other side of the issue, Early Doors got 3 land factories going up, so no air factory as of yet from him. And his buddy Jules did go second air, actually, going third land, so these guys flip-flopping, and Jules taking some of the initial air engagements. Incidentally, the map is either Kaylee or Cali. It's a 10x10 map. Good amount of reclaim on it. You can see the reclaim up here at the top. Some of it has been captured already. I think there's about 10k on this map initially. And some of it doesn't show up because it's in these civilian buildings. Name of the map being Cali. I don't really care if it's actually Kaylee. I'm going to call it Cali just because me being in cybersecurity, one of the Linux distributions that we use for penetration testing is Kali Linux. So, you guys are interested in getting into cybersecurity, set yourself up a little dual boot system with Kali Linux, and you can do what I did. And if you have younger siblings and you live with younger siblings, you can hack into all their Facebook accounts and get your parents real unhappy with you. But either way, I was that kind of kid. I have great relationships with my siblings now. I was like, what would that be? 12 years ago? 13 years ago? It was a while back. They've forgotten. I'm just kidding. They never forget. Scout's going out for Jules, and he's also got a hunter camping this little mass extraction point. And it looks like Early Doors has got, I can't remember the name of this mod, but it's the one that auto pauses. It auto upgrades all of your mexes to T2. I can't remember if it does it to T3 as well. But so instead of remembering to click on them, you can just click and unpause them, which I don't really know why that's easier because you're still clicking a button, but you know, some people find it handy. Either that or maybe he's manually doing it. Who knows? Who knows? This game's a little bit slow to start off here. Bomber is coming out from Gnaf. Let's see what he sees. What's he going in on? He sees a couple mech marines. And he's got a couple of Auroras doing some scouting. I've actually never played this map, so it would look like the primary areas of engagement, going back to the main observer, would be like right around this pond. The map seems to be kind of steering everything into that pond, but you do have some of the flanking opportunities around the west as well as the east. The north looks to be impassable, but you can get an engineer up here. There's only one max, and I don't know if that's really worth like attack missile base. Probably not. But there is one max there, if that is your cup of tea. Lots of Zooies in the mix for Jules. I'm not sure if this means, if Jules means something in another language, but every time I think of Jules, I think of the character from The Magicians. Great show. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I think it's on Netflix. Like a dark Harry Potter. One of those things where you never really know who the good guy and who the bad guy is. You kind of find yourself like agreeing with different sides throughout the show. It's really, really cool. But anyway, gun speed and range on the way for Johnny Radars. Got himself a little Mantis battalion to offer him a little bit of support. As well as AA, that will get scouted there from Early Doors, who is incidentally a little bit late to the party. Probably not in a great position to be able to stop that upgrade. Well, he does have a pretty good T1 contingent here. Could at least put the fear of God into Johnny. Either that or the fear of the devil. As you know, the devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. In a bind, he was way behind. He was looking to make a deal. He said, if you cancel that upgrade, I'll leave you alone. But if... I'm blanking on how the rest of that song parody should go. But if you lose, then Early Doors gets this plateau. That kind of rhymes. You lose, Early Doors gets the plateau. Nah, it doesn't rhyme at all. Also is off rhythm. But Johnny Radar's storming down the hill. That point defense is not going to make it up there for Early Doors as he will cement his hold on that position. Got a Rhino in the mix already? Okay, no, I thought I saw a little, little Rhino shell. But everybody just kind of grabbing their own territory, no huge incursions yet. Incidentally, it would appear that Gnaf and Johnny Radar is the only ones that have noticed this little bank of reclaim around this crater lake, it would appear. I'm guessing that's the aesthetic that the map designer was going after. It was kind of a crater lake type look. It does look really cool. It's a very pretty map. Whoever designed this map, if I had been a proper caster, I probably should have gone and looked at the map. But this is a really cool map. I've seen some of the pros play it. I think I watched Swackle mutual with somebody up here at one point or another. But either way, there are these railguns that are positioned one on each side. I think this one has died, yeah. So one of the players has already taken care of that railgun. Which is definitely good. Nobody taking advantage of any of the civilian buildings, though. And it looks like the reclaim in the middle has been forgotten to some extent. And now we're seeing some movement here from Jules. As he moves against Gnaf's position. Gnaf up against their on a T2 upgrade right now. Nearly completed. has the opportunity to get an Oblivion turret up. Another engagement up here. Johnny, of course, working with that gun upgrade now. But all this T1 spam, that's starting to threaten early doors comm. Johnny had his commander a little bit further forward. Probably could have gotten the scalp there, actually, with the gun upgrade. Early doors working with an unupgraded commander. There is a T1 PD back here that he could have fallen back on, but there's artillery in this mix, and Johnny with the gun upgrade. I don't think one T1 PD is going to make a huge difference there. Meanwhile, in the south, Gnaf suffering from the woes of his civilization. The Aurora, not only are they weak enough that a light breeze causes their armor to crumble, but in kind of hilly plateau like this, sometimes you can see their projectiles sometimes have some issues on those. And what's unfortunate about this is the Aurora don't even have the opportunity to use their range advantage, because they're up against what can only be described as a metric shitload of Zuis. Once the Aurora getting close, though, the Zuis start friendly firing. These Zuis strike me as like a bunch of 10-year-olds with like fully automatic airsoft guns. I don't know if you guys played airsoft guns, or I played airsoft whenever you were growing up. Huge in me. It was huge in my family and a bunch of my friends. And they've got these fully automatic airsoft guns, and you know, little 10-year-old duelist, all he wanted to do was just hold the trigger down. So if anything moved, I would just hose it down with, you know, probably way too much ammo. And then 9 times out of 10, it was my ally. So that kind of seems like what's happening here with some of the friendly fire, as these shells end up falling on the Zuis. Like, yo, dude, same team, bud. Meanwhile, a little bit of a push happening up in the north. This T1 little squad isn't going to make it a whole... We're going to make it super far here. And stealth upgrade on the way for Johnny Radars. Almost got that done. Now let's check in with Eco. So, we've got early doors is on T2. Cranking out some T2 engineers, getting some T2 power infrastructure up. Jules is... still rolling with that T1. Nope. On his way to T2 on the air. My cursor is hovered directly over it. Opponents. What are we looking at on this side? So we got T2 land. First T2 power generator up, as well as a couple of asylums. And cranking out some blazes. And we are at T2 land as well for Johnny Radars. He's doing that P-Gen adjacency that Jagged reamed me for in his stream, if you guys saw that. I'm hoping I get casted more. I don't know. Maybe I should change it. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I just shouldn't change it and then hope he casts me more, and maybe I'll cause him to lose his mind. That could be rather entertaining. Just watch Jagged absolutely lose it on his stream, because the unit pathing out of my T1 factories isn't very good. Nah, I'm not gonna do that to him though. I'll probably fix it. Probably. The Zui's up on this ridge getting mopped up by a couple of fervors as well as some flares. So flares able to use their high mobility to deal with the Zui's. I think there were only like 6 or 7 flares, and there were at least 20 Zui's up there. So good trade there for Gnaf up against Jules. 24.97. I wonder what 24.97 means. If there's ever a game where I'm just going through the line thinking of like crazy name ideas, if there's ever a game where, Alan, we got to push here actually. Hold that thought. There's a good thought, so get excited. But Jules is going to deal with this little incursion here. These Medusa. These guys might be suffering from lack of radar here. Nope, they got plenty of radar, so Jules should know that he can win this fight. He probably just noticed the commander back here, although he doesn't really have that many FAMs, and I think that's starting to hurt him a little bit. FAMs are nothing really special, but they do add some frontline beef to your army. Zooey's rolling with 170 hit points, FAMs up at 280. Plus Zooey's have that long arcing fire, and while they do a ton of damage, they don't have the armor really to back it up or the guaranteed hitting. But we might see some good carnage here. Oh man, Johnny moved his units. It's kind of hoping that we'll still see some good shots coming in, as the Zooeys are never more happy than whenever they're firing at large amounts of low health units. They need to commit one way or another and decide to get him. And early doors pushing from the top as well. Didn't clear out this PD though, so that PD is rolling with 10 kills right now. Rolling like a big shot. That combined with the gun comm is probably enough to put a stop to this. Ooh, nice little overcharge there. Picks up 4 units. Actually, the Zooey's got in range, and that might be Johnny's signal to make like the devil and go down to Georgia. Ooh, and gunships. We got some Volthus on the field. They're from Jules. Using that T2 air we scouted out earlier. Only 2 though, gonna need a lot more if he's going to bring down this commander in any timely manner. They go into work. Any AA or any air to speak of. Okay, so we got Gnaf shifting his air. Early doors should probably shift his air as well. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Johnny's not in a huge kerfuffle here, as it's only 2. Why am I blanking on the name? Volthus, thank you. It's like that time where you spend hours and hours and hours studying for a test, and then you sit down and it's like, what is 2 + 2? And your mind is just like, 7. I don't know if you guys experienced that, but if you guys do experience it, don't worry, because that was me, and they hired me for a cybersecurity job that they have no idea I'm not qualified for. I'm beating myself up real bad this cast. Oh man. All right, so we've got a ton of reclaim now deposited on Johnny's doorstep, up to almost 6,200 reclaim. We should see some of this battalion of engineers tasked with going and slurping a lot of that up. Is he hurting for mass? He could use a little bit of a bump. Not in bad shape, but you know, it's been a while. And that is a triad, so early door's gone to T2 on his commander. Dropped a triad, and that's going to be a little bit more reclaim there for Johnny. Speaking of eco, Team 1 lagging behind a little bit by about 6k, 7k, 6.5 to 7k, depending on who you ask and when you ask them. Don't ask me, and don't ask me now. But, and that can be remedied very, very quickly with this reclaim. Like, there's enough here just on the screen to more than make up for the little gap there, and then they can, of course, use that to upgrade some of these perimeter mass extraction points and slingshot themselves into the lead as far as mass generated. But they're just having a little bit of problem holding on to map control. They're only maintaining about 40% map control, which isn't super bad, but early doors getting a little bit of a tactical advantage here with the radar that's put up on this little cliff, so getting a nice little read on everything that comes through this chasm, which is probably the best thing that you could do with that little cliff. I don't think that, well, actually tactical missile launchers would reach the base. So tactical missile battery could be a good play there as well. But right now, we're about to see an inhumane amount of T1 rammed down Johnny's throat here, as Jules sends 80 units to early doors. And Johnny gets to work on some Cerberus T2 point defense. Calm up front with those spectacularly metallic testicles. Does have some support from some T2 units as well as some T2 PD, and looks like this is going to stall out a little bit. Pathfinding is proving to be a real problem here for early doors. A lot of his units getting hung up there on that cliff, and that is going to be more reclaim going the way of Johnny. Got some pillars in the mix as well, so he has made the transition to actual T2 land production. And actually even getting a forward T2 factory here. Good position to launch a little reclaim expedition. Do your best vacuum impression. Save the planet by cleaning up all of this garbage that the dirty Cybran has elected to leave, polluting the landscape. Other sides of the map, though, pretty quiet. And looking at mexes, Johnny does not appear to be upgrading any of his T2 mexes. I do think all of them are T2, though. He does have... Well, that one's T1, finishing its upgrade to T2. Or actually, it's paused right now. And then the ones that he has up... Whoop, terrible camera work. I apologize. The ones he has up here are all T2. So no T3 mexes out on the field yet. And Jules going in for more T2 air commitment. Also appears to be on all T2 mass as well. And no T2 land yet, incidentally. So really making the commitment there for the Zooey spam. Unless he put his HQ up here, which I'm not seeing. Nope. Okay. It's all T2 land. Or all T1 land. But he's decided to beef up his sniping tactics here a little bit. We've got 3 Volthus with some supporting Nathas. And I'm not sure if he's going to be using these Nathas as air support or as sniping material. But there is a Mar dropped down by Gnaf. Where are these Nathas going? Doesn't look like they know either. They're like Owen Wilson and behind enemy lines. That line at the beginning of the movie, he's like, they sent us out, we fly around a little bit, and then we come back. It's nothing exciting. That's right before they get shot down, but, you know, these Nathas, they're complaining. See if they end up getting shot down here. Flak has locked on. One of them's badly damaged. Eats a shell. Yep. There goes Owen Wilson. And his co-pilot is probably close behind him. Speaking of which, these gunships are not faring too well either. There's an Ascendant back here. Multiple Ascendants, it would appear. Really taking it to those T2 gunships. But it does look like they bring the shield down, and they will take out a point defense as well for their efforts. Before a blaze shows up on the field. And lots of standoff tactics all around. So Johnny using the probably one of the best units that the Cybran have. So underrated. The Deceiver. Mask all of his units from early doors, so early doors knows that there's stuff out here because they can see it coming in. They can't shoot back. That's what you want, right? Oh, and surprise, early doors has made the jump to T3. So we got a little battalion of Titans. That'd be a battalion or a platoon. I guess it's more of a squad, really. Gonna chase off some of these blazes, inferior tech, and an inferior faction. And with that, we'll also be able to mop up a lot of the T2 pressure here from Johnny. Com's not going to be in huge amounts of danger though. There's too many Cerberus back here to represent a serious, significant problem. And now the Blaze is finding themselves pincered here between T1 forces from Jules and a mixture of T1 and T3, T1 through T3. And I think I'm seeing, yeah, we are. We're seeing some spearheads. These guys have such cool loading animations. Come on, don't do this to me now, bud. I just like put you on the stage. All right, he's got stage fright. There it is. And it goes through like a whole little loading maneuver with the side loader and everything. And yeah, he was really anxious to get off the stage. It's okay. I'm the same kind of way. Incidentally, Johnny in a little bit more trouble now, but once again, 3 Volthus. Probably not going to be enough to cause any serious damage. Actually, the Nappas, though, coming in. Bombs away, baby. Well, and that's going to be close up. That second bomb impacted on the shield. Johnny and his violin escaped with the skin by the skin of their teeth. Woo, that was a close one. Johnny, don't scare me like that, bud. I would have also, with a name like Johnny Radars, I would have expected more than 2 radars. You know, I'm just saying. We got one here. We got one here. I would have expected a line of radars, like at least 15 or 20. You're gonna commit to the name, bud. Gotta commit to the role. It's okay. He might not be committing. That spearhead that we looked at got the stage fright as well. He definitely didn't want to commit to the role. As several units commit seppuku against Kidnaf's forward firebase. Nice alpha strike from the Oblivion turrets. Well, they're missing now. Everybody's got stage fright. As soon as I call somebody out, I'm like, these things are really cool. Then they just start not doing very well. Incidentally, though, the spearheads, while we have not been watching them, have broken through a lot of Johnny Radar's firebase here. And the eco lead continues to widen for team number 2, up almost 30k in overall mass. Do we have T3 mexes on the field yet? Please tell me we do. All right, we got 1, and that's it. Going for heavy shield generator. Got a T3 power up. And T3 HQ, and then 2 air factories. So no T2 air from early doors, and no T2 land from Jules, but he does have T3 energy and T3 air, getting some ASFs produced. Meanwhile, back on the ranch, we do have T3 land out for Gnaf. Upgrading both of his factories actually to be supporting T3 factories, and getting a T3 power generator. He is also at T2 air. Then our boy Johnny still working with T2 land and T1 air. As far as mass income, I'm gonna wait for the Supreme Scoreboard here to cooperate with my wishes. Looks like your chip leader is early doors, but it is fluctuating a little bit. Appears to be, well, actually, he's not your chip leader. He's just reclaiming a lot. Gnaf appears to be chip leader at 151 mass per tick. Got several T3 mexes, actually. 1, 2, 3. And 1 T2 that is not ringed yet. Probably forgot about that one. It's okay. Happens to the best of us. By the best of us, I mean me. So probably the worst of us. Ravager creep starting for early doors, and the spearhead push continues. And Johnny appears to be getting tired of this. He's going to send all of his units out. They're going to run into withering amounts of minigun fire coming from the Ravager. It tears through all of the Cybran units. I was going to try and come up with something cooler there, but units is what came out of my mouth. These little blazes kind of find themselves here in no man's land. By no man's land, I mean Team 2's land. No reaction though from early doors. I ended up bagging themselves a nice little T3 mechs. Nice little treat. Ooh, that was a close one. But instead, they're gonna run away. And then they're gonna die. Right? Right, yep, they die. But Ganaf has started to put this together here. His units can float and are now going to float over the crater lake instead of going around it. And let's see what he wants to do with these blazes. What in the blazes is he going to do with those blazes? Oh, there's a Mex. Well, there was a Mex there. This is a little bit more significant though. Instead of 2, there's like 10. But they need to shoot back. They're going to shoot back? Okay, there they go. Got a pillar there, got a lot of Zooies to dodge. As well as some dams. And looking at the KD, that kind of tells this entire story. Early doors and Jules just really having trouble sinking their teeth into this. Sinking their teeth into team number 1. Got a lot of T1 units to show for it though. Is that Ilsheva? That's an Ilsheva. Jules has gone for T2 land. Best unit in the game, right here. Except for the Deceiver. And whatever other unit I feel like calling the best unit in the game. So, T2 land there for Jules, and this is HQ here in the base. Did I just miss a T2 HQ? Somewhere? Okay, yep, it's up forward. Got another supporting factory. Stuff is happening though, or it already happened. The blazes got killed. I think team number 1 really just need to hunker down here. They need to get their eco in line. They need to take all of the reclaim that's around and slash in their base and on their plateaus and everything. Like there's, just like right here, there's like a full, like there's half of a T3 max right here in reclaim. So I think sitting back, doing a little bit of eco work, taking a little bit of me time, and then going for something like this. GC coming out. That's what we want to see. That's what we love to see. But the Hards are actually going to do work here against the T1. This is a joint coalition of Cybran and Aeon against the common Seraphim threat. Still a better story than Twilight. Those Zooies, though, let me tell you, they deal damage. I know, it's hard to believe, but, I mean, I'm seeing it right before my eyes. Do a lot of damage. Titans coming in from early doors, coming in from the north. Save the day. Save a lot of Jules' T1 here, and, oh, a couple Percivals, too. Fancy schmancy. That's going to be all she wrote, though, for the Blazes. Those Blazes will go down in, well, Blazes. Harbs are moving back, though, to a little bit more defensible position under a T3 heavy shield, constructed by Ganaf. And don't bring them out from the shield. Let them shoot from under the shield. Shoot from an area of relative safety. Oblivion turrets actually doing a pretty good job of dealing with these Percies. It's 2 Percivals down. Another one gone and another one gone. I sang way too much this cast. I am singing too much this cast. And I'm going to continue to do it, and that's probably going to be the title of this video. It's the singing cast. Sing-along cast. Silly songs with the Duelist. There's some Gunthers are up here. Gunthers somewhere. Yep, there they are. Alright, so T2 artillery installation there for Johnny. Does have pretty much full range of early doors' forward position there. We'll look to oust him from there. Early doors with heavy shield, as well as a T2 shield that is currently recharging, and then a handful of Ravagers. And we're seeing some Cougars picking out the Conservators out of the sky. And Ganaf's GC has completed. What kind of answers do we have here for team number 2? Well, not a lot, to be honest with you. We got a wing of strats. That'll help. They do have air control. And, there we go. Okay, Fat Boy. 50% of the way done. Being constructed in early doors northern base. As the shield breaks. It's okay. We'll put up another one. Early doors has got to be stalling pretty bad here. He seems to be. Yeah, that shield is going up real slow. That's like some molasses level shielding. Game feels like it's running slow, but this is not telling me that it's running slow, so I don't know what to tell you. Strats are out though. Ganaf is not under shield, well, at least the bigger shield. He does have a shield on his commander. Ooh, those strats deal a lot of damage, almost take him out. There are some Redeemers that's gonna take out actually all of them. Wow, those died quick. I thought at least 1 or 2 might get a second pass, although there is a good amount of flak in here. Although I read earlier on the Discord that flak just does not hit strats like at all, that they move too quickly. Somebody confirm or deny that for me, please, because I completely forgot, and I've been busy with the next science video for you guys, testing it out. It's actually going to be on shields. We're going to talk about shields in that science video. That should be coming out here over the next couple days. I'm going to do this one tonight, probably encode and upload it, and then I got a couple of videos. I actually got a little bit of a surprise. My channel is approaching its year mark, and I have a kind of a funny video planned for the year mark. And hopefully you guys will find it interesting. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're subscribed to see that video. We can just go full YouTube shill here. Like and subscribe. Do the YouTube hokey pokey, spin yourself around. Make sure you spit 7 times to the north and throw a bit of salt over your shoulders. It's the only way to appease the YouTube algorithm gods. Either that or sacrificing your firstborn, but I figured, you know, most people would find spitting 7 times to the north and throwing salt over your shoulder a little bit more appealing. Here we go. Percies are, there's only like 3 Percies in that mix, and they are not in a good position to deal with this GC before it just uses its eyeball of doom on a lot of the forward forces there. Meanwhile, these are all getting shelled by Gunther fire, and there was a Serenity back here as well. T3 mobile artillery for the Aeon. So GC is gonna stomp its way forward, baby. And is the GC gonna go swimming? GC gonna go swimming? GC not gonna go swimming. He was like looking at that water and he was like, oh nope, that's too cold. That's a little too cold for me. Okay, buddy, I don't like water either. I swam for like 12 years. I've had my fill of water. It's like my least favorite thing Whenever somebody's like, hey, do you want to go like hang out at the pool? I'm like, no, absolutely not. Spent 10 years of my life going to practice, not 10 times a week. Last thing I want to do is just go sit by a body of water in the sun. Oh, come on, buddy, don't turn around. We've got, well, that's a lot of Zooies. How many Zooies does Jules have? Let's do a Zooey count. It's got 142 Zooies on the field, with more still like coming out. He's still making them. That fat boy has incidentally been finished. All right, there we go. GC moving in on the Ilshivas. Strats in over the top. The Redeemers are getting moved into position now, so unless that fat boy can take care of all of them, the Strats I don't think are going to be able to kill the fat boy. Though the Ilshivas and Zooey fire might do it itself. He's going to pull that GC away. I don't think that's what you want to do. You can't shoot backwards. Meanwhile, Johnny, feeling emboldened, has sent in 5 rhinos, sorry, and a handful of Vipers. This guy's probably not going to last very long. That was probably our rogue Cyberan commander. It's just like, all right, boys, we got it. And then they ran through the jaws of hell. Cannon to the front of them, cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them, volleyed and thundered. Stormed out with shot and shell, while tank and missile launcher fell. Only I don't think these guys are going to get to ride back through the gates. Mouth of hell. Gates of hell. It's been so long since I've read that poem or heard it. It's a Charge of the Light Brigade, by the way, if you guys are curious. It's a pretty good movie on it, too. Okay, Rhinos and Deceivers getting absolutely pummeled. Rhino gonna make it away? Come on, buddy. You can do it. I know you can. You just gotta dodge. You gotta dodge. Don't die on me, buddy. You can do it. He didn't make it. F's in the chat for our fallen homie. Okay, another experimental unit. So we got another fat boy out for early doors. The initial GC there for Gnaf is hanging out back here. You might want to, no, okay. So this is what you don't want to do. You don't want to repair it. At 1/3 HP, I'm not sure it's worth control K'ing it and reclaiming it, but you definitely don't want to repair it. Because that's, of his, who am I talking about? Gnaf? Of his, well, actually, he's got a ton of mass to work with, so I guess he doesn't really care. But anyway, that's like 4, 6, 9, that's 45 mass going into repairing a GC. And, yeah, just don't do it. Absolver's on the field as well, so some shield disruptors. It did shut down the Fat Boy shield, but I'm not sure if there's anything that can follow up on that before it regenerates. Although if he walks it into the Oblivion point defense range, they will kill it. And the Vipers are actually, is there no tactical, oh, there's no tactical missile defense on the Fat Boy. I would have thought that a mobile factory would have had tactical missile defense. I feel like that's a pretty standard, issue for a mobile factory, based on all the mobile factories that I've seen outside of this game. Either way, though, all of these Zooies have been gifted over to early doors. So now early doors is going to have the really fun task of getting these Zooies into a point where they can actually do some damage. And do we have another GC on the way back here? No. Actually, oh, we've got a Tsar on the way back here. And a T3 power generator. What in terms of fun things do we have down here? Okay, so we got an Awasa on the way for Jules. And Early Doors has actually got a nuke launcher. Done and dusted. And got a quantum gateway up as well. One thing I might say is get all of your mexes to T3 before you go quantum gateway. It's a little bit more mass efficient. The GC is going to engage on the Fat Boy. Shield is plummeting, so is the GC's HP. I think he's going to get the Fat Boy here. Maybe. Does he? Yeah, he definitely does. Alright, yep. Gets the Fat Boy. I don't see the GC being able to make it out of this, though, especially if he stands still. Actually, now that he's moving, this GC might cheat death once again. They'll probably want to turn it around. Like, this is all T1. You can deal with T1 even with very little HP. It's just Zooies and a handful of dams. You can also farm some veterancy. 2 ranks of vet. Could be 3, but looks like he's going to run back here again. Okay, Gnaf, experimental unit done. Czar, complete. Incidentally, this Fat Boy that has actually just died was shelling this forward position. I guess it's not really forward, it's a pretty central position, but this position there for Johnny Radars. And the Gunthers were able to deal with it. Always gotta keep that in mind whenever you're pushing your Fat Boys in. It'd be pretty bad with guys named Gunther. Just a little run by though. Got some Redeemers, some Harbs, and some AA, some juicy, what would it be? AG, anti-ground. Going after the Awasa, I don't know if, I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good target priority. Lots of engineers working on getting some T2 point defense set up though. Harbs are moving into range though. Be able to blap one of the T2 PDs. Get a second one and then go to work on the rest of the engineers. Not be very long for this world, no indeed. And here we see the Tsar fending off a relatively sizable T3 Air Force, but he's flying, Jules is flying his planes through the beam. Tsar, is he gonna make it? I don't know. Depends on whether how much AA we've got back here. But the last thing he wants to do is bring this back to his base and then just drop it on something like a T3 power generator. But regardless, it does make it. And let's go back to our Harbinger's Doom. Down here, got their eyes set on the power infrastructure of Jules. T1 bombers in over the top. A little too many, though, for the Redeemers to deal with. Redeemers, great AA units, but not super great at dealing with so many of them. But irregardless, pretty much all of Jules' space is going to be dusted here. It would appear that Gnaf is going to be gracious enough to leave one T3 power generator up before succumbing to the swarm that is Early Doors' gifted units. That is, if they succumb. These Harbs are doing a fantastic job. Nuke launcher out, though. Where are we headed? Okay, I saw the icon here. Going after Johnny Radars. Johnny's commander is, it's a no moving. There we go. Now he's moving. Ideally, you want to move, though, in like a away from the blast kind of direction. I don't think he's going to make it. Yeah, that nuke is, I think, landing like right on top of that transport. A little bit to the south, I don't know. Nope, not gonna make it. Not gonna make it. Let me tell you, these Harbs, plucky little band of Harbs and Redeemers, have really gotten their value. We got 11k mass, almost 13k mass, even the AA, almost 10k mass there. Really paying off. Needs to keep it moving though, those Zooies. Love it when you stand still. This, of course, being full share because it is team matchmaking. Ganaf has inherited all of Johnny Radar's base, or what is left of it. So T3P gen, a handful of T2 factories, and a little bit of defensive infrastructure. But most of Johnny Radar's infrastructure has been well and truly wiped off the face of the planet. And that leaves the door open here for the Percivals, Titans, and Strikers of early doors to come steamrolling in through that door. See this door? He was a little early to it. He got here before the response to Ganaf from Ganaf. Get it? Early to the door? Because his name's Early Doors. Oy. Czar on the way, though, to respond. That Czar pretty badly damaged. Although the air player was Jules, and we do look like we have T3 air out from early doors, and he does have a small number of ASFs. Probably not enough to deal with the Czar, though, at full shields, even though it is only at about 20% HP. That Czar going to mop up those Percivals. Slice through that armor like a hot knife through butter. I've never actually tried. I don't know how well a hot knife through butter actually cuts, but I imagine it'd be pretty good. Early doors is going to send his ASFs in. I think this might be the wrong idea, though. Only a couple of them can even get shots off before they get shot down by the AA, as well as the Czar's rather long AA of its own. You can see that blue, that kind of bright blue line, not the faint line, but the bright blue line illustrating the anti-aircraft capabilities of the Tsar. Does have a pretty long range whenever it comes to those AA missiles. Another little group of Harbs and another Fat Boy, or it might have been, nope, we've seen two die. One was here, and then the other is over here. So early doors completing another Fat Boy, actually. Ganaf still playing 1v2, though. Does have this Czar. I'm not sure if he wants to use it or Control K and reclaim. That one's pretty heavily damaged at 25%. I think that one might be a good candidate for Control K and rebuild. As long as you got the build power, which he does have a good amount of build power, but probably not as much as you'd like to justify the Control K. Take a sip of my drink here real quick. I've been talking for 48 minutes now. Refreshing. Okay. Speaking of T3A air, Ganaf has got some Coronas on the field as well. And I think that's the same GC that is now healed up and is locking its sights in on these Saku grass presets. Those are gonna pop off like little chain reactions there. The Fat Boy is in pursuit of the Harbingers. So the Fat Boy, unlike the GC, not afraid of the water. Just gonna cut right through that crater lake. Take a little swim across the channel, so to speak. And actually another Fat Boy, so that makes 4 total that I think Early Doors has built this game. A lot of investment there. And that GC, he needs to be moving that Fat Boy the other direction if he wants to deal with this GC. Alternatively, though, there's not a whole lot stopping that GC from just marching through here and finishing off Jules. We'll see if Ganaf puts that together. Of course, it is very easy for us in our ivory tower. And by ivory tower, I mean my chair that's kind of being held together by tape. And say that. But he does realize it. Okay, so GC starts putting some distance between himself and the Fat Boy. Probably get a little bit of a block from this cliff from the Fat Boy shells, depending on how closely he hugs it. T2 point defense open up. It's probably not going to be enough, though, considering we've got a whole host of Harbingers in tow and some shield disruptors as well. Wow. Gnaf came prepared. For some reason, the GC decides to attack an interceptor instead of the millions of things that are shooting at it right now. Target priorities. That's going to be the T3 Air HQ down for a second time, I believe, there for Jules. Jules' commander is actually chilling back here in early doors base with another T3 factory, but HQ's been down, so all he's going to be able to build out of that are interceptors and bombers. Some bombers wouldn't be a terrible idea right now. Amass up a bunch of T1 bombers. Second Fat Boy has made a beeline south. He's going to be intercepting that GC. The first Fat Boy that we saw earlier has been taking some, I believe it was some artillery fire. Yeah, so there's a lot of miasmas in this base. And that did a little bit of damage there to the Fat Boy's shields. Nothing to the chassis though. Now the Tsar is a lurking in the corner. That GC needs to get around that cliff. Actually, the Fat Boy's just going to stop firing altogether. Once he gets around this cliff, gets around up here, we've got panic building T3 point defense. Oh, those shield disruptors though need to stay back behind the GC to disrupt that shield. And actually, that's early doors' comm right there. No shield on that comm. First shield about to fall. I think he's still under this T2 shield. He is. And opens up on the commander, and that's going to be a dead comm. Well, and if not, the Tsar is definitely going to kill it. Dead commander. And the ASFs coming in from early doors will finish off that Tsar. But the Tsar will, of course, crash and take a lot of the infrastructure that Jules just inherited with it. So now Jules versus Gnaf. Gnaf versus Jules. Jules with his commander under some shields. Rather prudent place to put them. There is an Absolver and another... Oh no, it's the same GC. It's still alive. There's a Fat Boy here as well, though. I don't see that GC being able to make it all the way up to that bluff. We'll be able to take out these Ravagers. Ravagers don't seem to be operating, though, with any kind of radar coverage. That one took forever to fire. That is going to be it for that GC. Fat Boy just needs to mop up the rest of these Harbingers now. That's a princely sum of mass, though, that has been deposited on Jules' doorstep. And by... Jeez. That's 120,000 mass and more being added all the time as the Harbingers go down. That's a lot. Remind myself how much... Let me see if I can do this. Can I do this? How much is a GC? GC's 27,000 mass. There's enough for 5, nearly 6 GCs in that little area. The Harbingers attacking the all-important mass storage to go in on the T3 mechs. Might be too little, too late though. You gonna get it? Fat Boy see it? Okay, yeah. Fat Boy sees it. Fat Boy needs to invest in some gunner training though. That mechs might go down. Oof. Skin of his teeth, man. I've actually been curious about this for a long time. Okay, Absolvers do have damage. You do 5 damage. Which is, terrifyingly strong. But they do damage. They do damage. Okay. So let's talk about what options here are available for Jules. He's got a ton of mass. Probably enough here for what does he got? I think he can build a Duke. Yeah, he's got enough to build a Duke, which is a Mavor. Does not have enough to build a Mavor. Does have enough to build a Novax though, so that could be fun. Could be fun. Or you could just build Fat Boys and steamroll a lot of these little fire bases that Ganaf has. From Ganaf's side, so we're 55 minutes into the game. Got another GC being produced, and it looks like another Tsar is just now going into construction. What does Ganaf's mass situation look like? Well, it's bleeding fast, but he did have a good amount stored up, so that'll be pretty helpful for him there. And a whole little squad of Sprite Strikers back here. Here goes the Fat Boys on this base. So they're up against the clock. Could have put a couple of parashields with these guys. That probably would have been the best. But as it is, a lot of miasma's down. And it should be all of them. I think both Fat Boys survive here. Yeah, this one doesn't even have its shields down yet. There goes the last miasma. Impacts on the shield. 2 Fat Boys remain. And forward firebase obliterated, eviscerated, wiped from the face of the planet. Just as Jules... Actually, I'm not going to finish that sentence. That's a little too far. I go far here, but I don't go. I'm not going to go that far. All right. Galactic Colossus. 2 of them. With, okay, so that was the one that was under construction here. I must have missed another one that was under construction earlier. Might have been at this little engineering hub. Moving in on said Fat Boys. And why does it look like this is glowing up here? Is that just the Tsar? It must just be the Tsar. So Jules needs to get some AA abilities here. We need either T3 AA or he needs T3 Air. And okay, he's got another T3 Air HQ somewhere. I'm not sure. Okay, there it is. Okay, so he's got T3 Air HQ up. He's power stalling out the wazoo. He is still building Sakus. That's the first Fat Boy down. Second one probably to follow. Jules got, I think, a little distracted there. Let these GCs wander into attack range. And that Fat Boy's got nowhere to go, but 6 feet under. And that might be game there. I'm trying to think what Jules has here. He's got a good amount of Percivals. And a Fat Boy up on the ridge. That might be enough to save him here. He's definitely on the back foot, as it were. Poor civilian casualties. This has been a great swing. I felt like early doors and Jules just they had a lot of the map and a lot of the mass. It seemed like they struggled to close it out though. The nuke definitely was a good play, but maybe nuking Johnny Radars instead of Ganaf was a mistake they will live to regret, or well, die regretting. One or the other. Percivals are going the wrong way, guys. The GCs are down here. They don't really know what they're doing. Either that or they saw the gigantic robots with the beams of light coming out of their eyes and they were like, yeah, no. Yeah, nope. We're just gonna nope it on out of there. Railguns firing on the Fat Boy. Wonder how much those do. They seem to be pretty good. Like, not quite Ravager, but better than a Triad. But if you can get these Percivals over here, he might be able to might be able to deal with him with the Fat Boy. He is getting some Ravagers set up on the ridge as well. That's definitely going to help. The shield disruptors are not going to help at all. Start seeing that little machine gun absolver start to lay into that Fat Boy's shields. And okay, so here we go. Ravagers are ravaging. Fat Boy is out Fat Boying. That's a support commander. But there's not enough damage yet on these GCs. I think the GCs just walk in. The Fat Boy with his shields depleted. Ravagers are going to go down now. The Fat Boy also getting a little bit confused on its targets. Percival's now move in. Maybe it was a good idea to send him around the outside. Around the outside. Around the outside. But not quite enough of them. He needed maybe 8 to 10 more, and then I think he would have been good. But even though this GC is nearly down, this one's pretty healthy. Where's his commander? Commander's right here. I believe that Jules has taken his last hit of a Jewel. In this game, at least. GCs need to hit the commander. Actually, he's just going to control K. Alrighty. Great comeback from Team 1. Great comeback from Team 1. Well played all around, though, guys. From Nukes, Experimentals. Not a whole lot more you could ask for from a game. Thank you very much for submitting this to the FAF channel. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Incidentally, if you want replays to be cast, best place to send them is going to be the FAF channel. I do check the replay submissions on my Discord, but I want to encourage people to submit to the main FAF channel as well, just because there are other casters that can pick it up there, and you can have a higher chance of being casted, because I cannot cast every single game that gets submitted, because A, my vocal cords won't let me, and B, it's a lot of time. There's a lot of games that get played. All of them are great. You guys submit some great games. But anyway, I will stop yammering. I hope you guys enjoyed the sing-along cast with the Duelist, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.